Peter, it's your turn now.
Okay, so I'm Peter. As you can see, ESMA is co-organizer here of the Touchpoint Textile. And I start with telling you a very short thing about ESMA. We are an association in Europe for industrial printing, and about 6 years we also looked at deeper into textile because it's a very important connection to our members, and it brings, of course, the possibility to enhance even textile printing with functional printing, which other members are very well in, and you get like heated gloves and heated leather and so on. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the roadmap, and because there is not so much audience, I wanted to ask who knows what an eco-modernist is or an eco-realist? And who knows it can raise his hand and give the answer. If not, I will tell you. Everyone knows an ecologist, of course. He loves nature. He wants to go and save nature. And actually, that book tells that the ecologists have it wrong. It's in Dutch, sorry. They didn't have an English copy yet. But the title says, you don't save the world with less, less, less. And what does it mean? You can be a vegetarian, a vegan, and eat less meat, but you could also say we can drive less with cars and less flying and so on, and use less water. But in the end, what does it do? It will change your life to a lower standard than you're used to. And that's not what we want, of course, in the future. We want to save the planet. And an eco-modernist tries to do that, like a lot of people walking here around, through technology changes. And improvements can change really the world long term. I have a few other titles. Satisfaction is a book, also in Dutch for the moment. And Marleen Bevers wrote it. She's in the fashion industry, and she told actually to women, think in the 4-3-2-1 rule. And that means the first step is if you have 4 pieces you want to buy, think about 3 occasions where you could buy wear 2 of the pieces already. Then 2 is take 2 deep breaths and give it some time before you buy, and then come back in a week and buy the final product. And very often this results in not buying anything. And the last one is Apocalypse CV. It's, a lot of people think that saving the planet is no longer possible. So, and they call it the apocalypse for human mankind. But actually, that's not true. We will try to save it. Okay. I start with the footprint of textile industry. We know that there is a lot of impact with use of water. That's a very serious thing in the textile printing. Nearly 80 billion square meters, and that was a number from 2015. It's the second biggest polluter in the world, so it's around 20% of the total pollution. CO2 emissions are quite high, 1.7. And of course, we come to the subject waste. It's enormous. I will tell you in another way later on how it looks and how much it is, but 92 billion tons of waste you cannot imagine. And if you don't do anything, it will increase, as they calculated, with 50%. And if you do business as usual. So we should start to reorganize at multiple levels the textile industry. And what do we do is direct things, produce with less water, less energy, less waste, smaller carbon footprint, keep less stocks, less transportation, less unused clothing, and less washing or post-production, but also less washing at home. So that I also will discuss a little bit. And this can be done through circular economy. And meanwhile, I started 4 or 5 years ago talking about 3R. Now I'm already up to 9 Rs. I have put the source there. Besides recycle, repair, rethink, refurbish, there are 9 other Rs already in the framework what to do with textile. This is maybe for most of you have seen it, but 1% of the textiles are really recycled and reused in production. So I would say, how does this come and why is it not done better? The Green Deal, which I will discuss more into detail, will push it to the maximum, but you can see that 73% is done, it goes into landfill incineration, and actually a little bit goes in cascade recycling, which is actually not the right way, but it helps already a little bit. There are losses in productions everywhere, end up in water. So if you know, and I was going to say to imagine it better how much waste there is, every second of every minute, every hour, every day, there is a truckload of textile being transported as waste. This is enormous. That's this 90 billion tons. And every person produces, therefore, almost 20 kilo of textile waste per year. And in that number is also partly the 32 million tons of unused, produced, brand new clothing. And that's something, what I mentioned, no overstocks and so on. These are a couple of points I'm going to go over quickly. So it is very important that lack of standards needs to be improved. You will see that there are coming some new regulations in this direction. The collection of separation of different textiles is going to be more important. We try to do less downcycling, so give it a lower use and less effective use should also be lowered. And then there is still a high demand for clothing, and the style of consumption that we also need to trigger that, as I said, with the satisfaction, the 4-3-2-1 rule could help to think more about what you buy every year on clothing. But now we come to the real stuff. Thinking about and looking at what we today have. Today we still have a lot of screen printing, which is nearly, I would say 92-93% of the total production is rotary screen, and 7-8% is digital. So this is a big difference, and we had hoped that when Thomas and myself did the study a couple of years ago, we predicted a transition, but yeah, by 2030, we should be at 1/4 of transition. And the latest number I saw is 5.5 billion square meters in 28. That's not even close to what we... So let's say these numbers were a bit optimistic, I would say. But if you want to reach the 2050 from the Green Deal in the right way, we have to push even harder. So a number of points that help to understand why this is going slower is not that digital solutions are bad. You saw software before from Adobe, which helps to optimize a lot of production methods. But first of all, there is a lot of the ink in inkjet plays the major role to make the changes. I will go deeper in the next slide. The inkjet technology has a little bit the opposite to rotary screen and screen printing, that it's a closed system. So the conservative textile market needs to understand why it is. And meanwhile, screen printing is doing its utmost best also to become a little bit more sustainable, less waste, less water use through computer-to-screen solutions, to recycling of reclaiming system of the water, better open mesh against drying out using water-based recycled inks like from virus, also plant-based inks are all possible, but still it will be a less efficient one as the digital. But we need to do a big push of this conversion from analog to digital by helping the conservative owners of printing mills in textile see a better future in digital. This could be through the Green Deal, that there is a new opportunity for Europe to have near shoring, production closer, what you can see here with microfactory and so on. So that's a very important help to go digital in the near future. But as I said, the inks play such a role even in digital. If you see to the 5 different inks, the first 3 have a lot of steps in the post-production with water, with heat, with water again, and you see steaming, you see rinsing, you see wash off and another wash off and a rinsing and drying and so on. But if you look to the 2 below, pigment, just a little bit of heat fixation, sublimation, even less heat fixation. So there you save already all the water. So that's why I said it's so important that the printing inks make the biggest move in the transition. Water, as I mentioned a few times, it's within textile printing so important. If we would change all the rotary screens with digital machines, we would have an enormous saving of water. And these are numbers from Marc van Parijs. And he said that it would be equal to 300,000 to 400,000 Olympic swimming pools of saving water, which is enormous, yeah, and that we are talking about 760 billion liters of water, which is enormous. So this is a big impact if we can change this high percentage of analog printing systems to digital. That's one saver. But also another one is rotary screen uses lots of gas and electricity. So I would, if you can see that consumption of 340 square cubic meters per year is used in gas and about 400,000 kilowatt per hour per rotary screen. So I compare it to the use in Belgium of gas and electricity. A month of Belgium gas consumption would be saved, and electricity, a week of total energy consumption in Belgium. So to give you an idea that this by machinery is used on a yearly basis and maybe even increasing over the time. So if we could save all this energy over time with digital, that would be excellent. As I said, the next part is important about looking at the Green Deal, is setting a lot of restrictions in the future to push sustainability, and it will help us also for the digital solutions. So about 3 months ago, I got this overview, and these 16 points and the circled ones in red are the really hot ones that should be arranged. I will talk a little bit about the eco-design and the digital product passport, also about extended producer responsibilities. I'm not going to explain it now, but you see other points like waste legislation. So big companies cannot dump their waste in the future. They will get fines. The corporate sustainable due diligence will become extremely important for large, very large companies. And PFAS, everyone heard about PFAS in the last years everywhere. So that's also high on the list. And very important, I have a separate slide on it, is green claims. Everyone knows there are many labels in textile, and do they give the consumer, the producer, the right information? So that's one of the things. All the others are also important, but the circle ones are the very hot ones. But there is even more coming. So about a month ago, I got another list, an addition to it, and so there is going to be a new textile labeling regulation. So information that needs to be on every clothing, and you can see there are many things on shipment that customs will play a very important role in checking what kind of products come to Europe and how they are made and what chemicals they contain. Otherwise, they might be banned from delivery. So, and a very important forced labor is one of these points, not only with the Green Deal, but also in the UN fashion industry sustainability. It plays a higher role. As I said, I would like to explain a little bit about this eco-design for sustainable product regulation. It is actually what is been lacking not only in the textile, but also in phones and so on. If your phone screen breaks from a smartphone, you have to go to a special shop and have it done and so on. But now they looked at either a consumer can repair it or a special shop, or it is the products need to be designed that they are easy to be repaired or fixed. And they also have to tell you in advance what can be fixed and what not. So, and that's a whole regulation. You can see I have two graphs. So it's not only for extending the product lifetime, but it's also see that there is less carbon footprint by throwing away after 3 or 4 years your smartphone. It ensures also that products can be reused in a second life by someone else and so on. And it's of course preventing too much waste and a minimum of products that end up or can be used at least to be in the recycled economy go further. This will be becoming effective in the next 3 years. And so there will be an whole legislation rolled out on this ESPR. Why, and this is very important, a lot of people didn't understand why textile is being put as first industry in the Green Deal. And it has to do, when we look later on, how they prioritized the product categories. They look a lot to water, and we saw that there is a lot of water used, air, soil, waste, toxicity, material efficiency, energy use, climate change, lifetime extension, biodiversity. All these points get a score between 5 and 0. 5 is very bad, 0 is excellent. And if you look to the next slide, they also divide it in 3 main categories, and textile is in the right-hand side. In the scope to prioritize, that means on the high on the list are furniture, steel, iron, textiles, garments, footwear, detergent, paints, lubricants, and chemicals. Out of scope are completely food, feed, medical stuff, and everything like living plants and organisms. But other in between are like consumer products and so on. So the right-hand side, I'm talking about textile, is high priority. And this is the most important slide, maybe to understand it. The score for textile was 43, and the next one was furniture, 30. So everyone in the textiles industry now can understand why it has been pushed forward as first industry to be attacked by the Green Deal. And then the next one will be furniture, ceramics, tires, detergents. But you see, it is a list, and for some people it is an eye-opener also to see what is happening. The other thing, EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, the producer will be responsible for the end of life, and it's connected to the ESPR. This is what is he doing to do with his product when it comes to end of life. Lots of you have heard about the stories about jeans returning, and you get like a discount on your next new jeans, and the old jeans will be. That's an example, but it needs to go further. They need to be doing collecting, sorting, recycling their products to reduce actually all this waste and increase the circular economy as much as possible. There are a number of objectives, but also obligations. If it's not done, they will be forced to pay financial compensations. So if you want to get rid of it easily, it will cost you more money than it will bring you. So this is again something which is on the short list of the European Commission to force manufacturers, brands to take up their responsibility within the textile industry as soon as possible. Digital product passports is not the same as the labeling, what I was talking about, but this is very important also for the recycling. Everyone, a consumer, a recycler, the manufacturer, the brand, everyone will see what is in the product, finds the right, and has only access to its own level. This is going to bring together all information also from REACH and other European regulations together. And the goal is actually to see in a good way what you buy. And for a consumer, you can, in the shop, use your read the QR code, see how is it really what they promise it is, and how can you do the best thing, how can you repair it, and so on. That all is possible to see through this QR code of the digital passport. Every product coming into Europe needs a digital product passport in the future, and this is also for textile a target to have it by 2027 if they succeed. I said something about green claims, and against it's actually the greenwashing that wants to be avoided by the Green Deal also. There are, for the textile, 230 labels, and 53 give a vague claim on their sustainability, how green the product is. 40% do not have a supporting evidence why the label is given. 1 out of 2 have a completely label without any profound lab analysis or any reference. And then why are all these labels then used? So that's one of the things that the green claims will be under pressure. They have to give more information in the digital passport, otherwise they might lose their possibility to be used in the process. I'm coming to the end. If you want to know more about topics like this, we have a sustainable digital textile printing academy that can be joined. You can find it on the ESMA website. It's in the middle of September, 17 to 19. It's an online course. And you can find more information on the website. Then even more interesting is our conference 15 and 16 here in Düsseldorf. And this is really all about showing what textile printing and sustainability is progressing in and what can be done to reach the Green Deal and other subjects. And this is from the previous conference 2 years ago. Voila. As last slide, I have this, the timeline since the Corona times of the Green Deal. The Green Deal started with the idea, then they looked at the industrial ecosystem, then they started around 2022, I think March 2022, the sustainable, the Green Deal for textiles and the action points and the strategy behind it. And now, as I spoke about ESPR, EPR and all and the corporate sustainability, the due diligence directive, that's now coming in the near future. As you can see, by 27, a lot of these things you all will understand much better. That's it for me. If there are any questions, if there is time left.
Yes, Peter, there's time, please. If there are questions, who likes to get the micro for a question?
So it was all clear or all boring? All right. Thank you for your attention. And if you like to have the presentation, you always can come to me and give a business card. And then thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. This was the end of the presentations here today. We wish you a great weekend. See you next week. Monday, we start again with Touchpoint Textile.